All right, welcome back to another episode of the OMJ podcast. I'm your co-host Jeremiah.
I'm your co-host Orlando.
And you all asked for us to get guests, and we finally delivered. So we have Chris Ward, who's a basketball developer, basketball trainer, development coach, former 8-year pro overseas, and we just honored to have him as a guest, and just looking forward to having this conversation. Appreciate you for coming, Coach.
And thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you guys for having me.
All right. So we just want to start off just about where you're from and just how was it for you growing up with.
Well, I'm from Tallabass, Florida, which is like just south of Manatee County, like right on the Sarasota-Manatee County uh, borderline. So that's where I grew up. I grew up playing little league sports in Sarasota. I played football, baseball, basketball, soccer. Went to high school in Bradenton. I actually went to all my schools in Bradenton, but I played all my youth sports in Sarasota. But that's where I grew up, down in the Sarasota, Bradenton region of Florida,
Nice.
right on the West Coast.
Nice. Well, talk to us more about your high school and even your college career. So, what positions did you play in? What positions you play? What were some of your stats, and what you like more about your high school career?
So my high school career, man, I went to Bradenton Southeast High School, long time ago. Um, we had I played freshman, I played junior varsity. My junior year, I got a chance to play varsity and start because our football team went to play in state. So a lot of the guys that were returning for my high school basketball team, my junior year, they were football players. So a lot of
Okay.
returning seniors played football. Well, football season went to a state title. And at that time, you didn't play the state title until I think it was after Christmas. It's like
Right.
the end of December back then. So you're talking about we played 11 games before the kids from the football team came back to join us. So by that time, my junior year, we were already rolling. So they came back in and filled in their spots, but I had a chance to start due to the success of our football team.
That's amazing.
From there, it was just being a basketball player. My senior year, we were number one in the state, had lost to a team in the state, and we ended up losing to Gibbs High School in the district finals, a team that we had beaten by 20 already that year. We lost to them by 1 in the district finals, but we hadn't lost to a team in the state. We were huge. We had a college-sized team in high school. So my high school career was cut short due to losing the district finals. Our girls team and boys team for basketball ranked number 1 in the state. My senior year in high school, they ended up winning state. We ended up losing the district finals and then bumped out. So I had a nice high school career. I played well. Had a chance to get recruited by high majors, but I also played baseball as well. So I ended up not having the grades to go to a 4-year, so I went community college for 2 years. I had a chance to play baseball and basketball my freshman year in college. My sophomore year in college, I was hurt majority of the year. I ended up signing with Virginia Commonwealth University. Um, uh, Ended up getting kicked off the team.
Right.
Virginia Commonwealth took their scholarship back, and I signed with Texas Christian University, and I ended up at TCU. I had a great JUCO run. My freshman year ended up being honorable mention All-American JUCO player. Played anywhere on the floor, so it was no defined position. If you want to say in high school, I played the wing. I played the 2-3 in high school because we were so big.
Right.
Once I got into college, I ended up playing the 3-4. And that was it. I went to TCU, played a year, got mono, Had a tonsillectomy, had my tonsils removed. So it was pretty much a wasted year. End up transferring to St. Leo. Finished up at St. Leo my senior year. From there, I went pro.
So what would you say like your primary position was? You would say like you said you played everything, but like what position were you most comfortable with?
Anywhere on the floor. I played the wing,
Love that.
but anywhere on the floor. So it was just no, defined position. I could handle the ball. I could shoot the ball. I was pretty athletic, so I could get to the hole and finish. But I could put the ball on the floor, shoot the ball from the wing, rebound, pass the ball. Basketball IQ was pretty high. I had a big that I played with named Cliff Rozier, who passed away a couple of years ago. He was a McDonald's All-American, ended up going to North Carolina, ended up at Louisville. He's first team All-American, NCAA, first round draft pick by the Golden State Warriors. I had another big kid on my team, Patrick Henderson, 6'8" kid, ended up going to Tennessee Chattanooga. I had another big on my kid, 6'6", Floyd Watkins, ended up playing at Eckerd. Man, we had a crew. My point guard, Elliot Washington, played at Alabama. We had a stick though,
So like I had some dogs on that team.
Yeah, we were big, man. The average height on my team, my junior and senior year, probably was about 6'5".
Wow.
Yeah, so we were a big team. But I say that because I could do anything on the floor. So it was no defined. Even if they put a number on your position, you just went out and played that position. That doesn't mean you played the position how the number defines you, but you played the position based on what you brought to the floor.
Now I think it's a perfect time, as you had mentioned you went to overseas. And I think, looking into the sport of basketball, a lot of times we don't really think about, that process going from America to, overseas to playing. So I want to talk about, how was that process for you? What obstacles did you have to overcome when you went from America over there, such as, language barriers, how it affected you mentally and so forth?
So with me playing, I was young. I graduated high school at 17. So when I finished college, I was 21 years old. So my first job playing overseas, I was 21 years old. I was the youngest dude in the league in the Philippines as far as local and import players. So the biggest thing for me was just the being away that far away from home by myself. First time out of the country by myself. It was just tough, just transitioning into being self-sufficient in a whole nother country. You're talking about time difference if it was 12-hour time difference, 13-hour time difference, my first time away from home. So, I'm thinking I'm waking up at 10 o'clock in the morning calling somebody, and it's 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night over here. So the biggest transition piece for me going overseas was pretty much just being away, having the the downtime when you go from your apartment to the court or to the weight room. That was easy because you were around people. There was the downtime when you were in that apartment by yourself. There was no video games. There was no Facebook. There was no phone calling through the internet or FaceTime. There was none of that. So it was tough, man. My first season in Israel, I think my first month, my phone bill was like $1,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Long distance?
Yeah, calling home, bro.
Wow.
And then at the time I had a girlfriend that was still playing college ball. And so I would talk to her all the time. And it was like I said, there was no internet phone calls.
Right.
So I was charged a phone card and booyah, you got the bill at the end of the month. So I ended up spending a lot of money, phone calls, silly stuff like that. But that was the biggest transition for me. The food was not an issue. the culture. I think educational wise, and I say experience, exposure, and education. But I think being abroad and playing abroad, being able to experience that was better than any degree that I have. And I have a master's degree. I think I was more educational than any degree that I have. Just being able to understand and relate and move amongst people that were from a different region.
Right. So what would you say was your favorite country? And I know you played in multiple countries. So which country would you say was your favorite and you appreciate the most?
Israel. I went to Israel 3 times. Israel, just because my first year there, I didn't really, I didn't take in and respect it and really enjoy it or embrace it for what it was. I mean, anybody that's read the Bible or been in church, I mean, I'm going in places that are mentioned in the Bible. Like I'm hanging out in places and living in places and seeing places that have been around based on Jesus and Moses. I'm talking about, it's just a spiritual, cultural experience that's just amazing. I mean, it's just a blessing to be a part of. So Israel was definitely one. And then my other, for the whole opposite reason, was Spain. Spain, I was in a city, Fuenlabrada, which is right outside Madrid. It's about 30 minutes outside Madrid. I mean, in Madrid, you just kick it. I'm talking about just one of the best party places I've ever been in my life. Madrid was, when I say a cultural experience, Spain was a cultural experience.
I know you got a crazy story from Spain. I know you do.
Man, Spain, Israel was like that too. You know, just from like Israel was like, for me in the summertime, Israel was like Miami and New York having a baby. You know, like it's amazing place to be. And it's just so much that you can do and experience from a whether it's a single, married, or family standpoint. It's just so much and so much knowledge and education that you can get just by being over there. So it helped me grow up really fast.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's amazing.
But I would say those are the two.
Cool. Israel.
So
Israel. We just always say Israel.
So Israel?
Israel.
Israel.
Yeah, no, it's Israel, but it's real.
Israel.
Yeah, amazing place, man.
So with you traveling, so many countries to play around and, play the sport of basketball and, like you had mentioned, enjoying that culture, being getting exposed to so many people, so many parties. Did you ever encounter sort of like a language barrier with them, with so many countries, so many different languages and cultures?
So the only place I had a language barrier where it was a really big issue was probably Spain, my first time going, because the guys on my team, I only had one kid that spoke English, and he was actually a kid that was going to college. So they say university, and he wasn't always there because of university or whatever he had to do. He wasn't always at practice. And then I had an assistant coach in Spain that spoke English, but he wasn't always there either because he lived a couple cities away, and sometimes due to work, he couldn't get there. So with me understanding, and like, it's a different Spanish in Spain. It's textbook Spanish. So if you did well in Spanish 101 or 102, you should have no issues in Spain. But I didn't do well in Spanish 101 and 102. So, so I could go to, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and I could survive based on my, broken, Spanglish. But over in Spain, if you can't put that thing together, bro, I'll tell you a funny story. So my first week I get there, we
Mhm.
had a game, and I couldn't play because the year before I was in Israel, and they owned the rights to they owned my rights, so they had to release me in order for me to be able to play, and it took them a little bit of time to do it. So I had to go through FIBA and all that. So I watched the game. We went out, and it's just like playing in the NBA, or you get into places where you know the fans know you, the people that own businesses, they know you, and they pretty much they take care of you. Like, you can go eat at different places for a real discounted rate or eat for free. And so after the game, we went to this place and we had dinner. We had some drinks, a lot of drinks, and so. We leave there, we go to another bar, we have some more drinks, and now we're getting ready to go to Madrid and hang out. And one of my teammates from TCU he was a couple cities over from us. So, my boy was there, so we getting ready to go hang out. So me and my other teammate jump in the car. He's driving. I was like, "Yo, you want me to drive?" He's like, "Nah, I got it." So I let him drive. We stopped by Pizza Hut, bought a pizza, getting ready to go to this apartment, getting ready to
Mhm.
go out and kick it. And we get into this accident, man, where the car is total. When I say total, we hit this car in the back so hard
Mhm.
that it threw us into the outside lane. And my door and my window was exploded.
Mhm.
Um, it hit so hard it threw us backwards. The back window exploded. I mean, this is a nice car.
Right.
And so I'm not gonna mention his name, but he looks over at me. He listen, he looks, I can't make this up. He looks over at me and say, "Dog, you okay?" I was like, "Bro, I'm dazed. We can't see because the hood is flown in through the windshield.
Well,
That's how hard we hit these people." He said, "Okay, we're gonna make it to the house." So this dude pulls out and we're leaving the scene of the accident. And so about 3 minutes later, we get pulled over. Cops got the guns out and they're holding the guns at us, yelling for us in Spanish to get out of the car. This dude looks over at me and say, "Dog, give me a piece of that pizza." Listen, I can't make this up. Like you said, I can write a book. He said, "Yo, dog, give me a piece of that pizza." So I give him a piece of pizza. He gets out eating the pizza saying, "Yo, what y'all doing with all the guns? Why y'all got the guns? We ain't murder nobody. Why y'all got the guns?" Oh man. So they take this dude and they put him in a cop car. He tells me to come to his apartment. This is my first like 2 days there. And so I was like, "Okay, I'll meet you down there." So I walk down to the apartment and I'm yelling, I'm hitting the door buzzer. Nobody's coming. So I'm yelling
Mhm.
his name. I back up. The actual apartment, all the buildings look alike. His apartment unit was on the other side. They were identical sides, but they
Mhm.
have like A and B, but they
Yeah.
still had the same apartment numbers and everything. And
Right.
so I'm sitting there trying to get in touch with them. They pull off. So I'm lost in Spain
Mhm.
uh, for yeah. I'm lost in Spain for. I mean, I went to this little pizza shop trying to get. I
Mhm.
couldn't speak. I didn't speak any Spanish, so I go
Right.
to this little pizza. I sat there for 4 hours waiting for a driver. They said they had a delivery driver that came in um, that knew English, and so he came in. He asked me if I had anything on me. I had my little keychain from my apartment, and he said, "This is your address." So he calls a taxi for me, sends me to my apartment. So I told you my boy was 2 cities over. So I called him. I was like, "Yo," told him what happened. Said, "You got to come get me, bro." So we go out and have the time of our life in Madrid. Right now, they have my teammate detained. His car is totaled, and now the owners of the team and the mayor of the city and everybody in the city are out searching for me because
Whoa.
they knew I was lost in the city, and I'm kicking it in Madrid, partying it up, bro. They thought I left the country because they hadn't seen me for 2 days.
That's
And like I
outrageous.
said, there were no cell phones back then. Uh, he picked me up on a Saturday night that it happened, and I
Mhm.
didn't come back until Monday because Sunday we had off,
Right.
and so I didn't come back till Monday. So these people think I left the country, man, because of what happened. They couldn't find me. So
Right.
yeah, so that's true story. Yeah,
That's gotta be what it.
That's amazing.
That story's up there. That story's gotta be up there.
bro. Listen,
Oh
I'm
man.
talking about I was lost in Spain in Fuenlabrada, Spain for like 4 hours walking around the city with a
Wow.
pizza in my hand, with a pizza in my hand, with the whole box in my hand. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So
That's the most amazing
and
story right there. All right, let's
so
get
the
back to
crazy piece is that's just one country. I can tell you multiple of those.
Oh man.
Oh, wow.
Dang. That
Yeah,
story's gotta be up there for you now.
yeah.
Oh man.
That's one of my. When I say that car was totaled, they they put it on this contract because it was like a $90,000 car. Yeah, so you're talking about back then. It was a Peugeot. It was a nice Peugeot.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like
So
before you went overseas, did you have an agent when you were overseas?
I'm sorry.
Did you have an agent
Yeah,
when
I
you
had
were
an
overseas?
agent.
Like how
Yeah,
was
I went
the
through about 5 or 6 of them.
wow. Okay. So like how was it? Well, you first about to go overseas, so you need an agent. So how was it like finding what were you looking for like in your agent at that time? Like what qualities did you want? Things like that.
But you know what? I was new to it. Like I didn't have anyone that I could like actually tell me how to do it. Or like my father was there, but my father knew nothing about professional sports or anything like that. So I just wanted somebody who was going to get me a job and actually be there for me, trying to basically walk me through the whole process. So once I got with the guy, they were good for me. They helped me get several jobs, but then I moved on. As you grow and you get into it, your agent is not a big agent at the time, and then you get to be better and you want more money. You have to go and find those agents that are going to help you get that money. So I always looked for an agent that is going to help me keep a job. So it's better now because I just went through this process with my son last year. He's in his second pro season,
Oh,
and I knew what to ask for. I knew what to look for because I've taken a couple kids through the whole agent journey, whether it's the NBA or overseas. So now I know what to ask for, what to look for, what he needs in his agent, and therefore you don't have to jump from agent to agent to agent. If you have everything you need from the start, then we're good.
right.
So but going over, I mean, first time I went over, a couple of my friends who I'm still friends with today had agents. They were playing overseas. My boy from TCU, Eric, uh, whose son is doing really well right now, Eric Daly Jr. Down at IMG.
At IMG?
Yeah, so that was his dad was my roommate at TCU.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's one of my
Small
really
world.
close friends.
Dang.
Yeah, so I've known little Eric since he was before he was born. So his mom, yeah, that's family. Yeah, so Eric and I would ping things off if his agent was moving for him, I may go with his agent. If my agent was moving for me, he may go with my agent. So we would work like that. So it was just trying to find a place to play every year, keep a stable job.
For sure, for sure. So you played overseas, and I know in the current NBA, you have players they get drafted to the league, but then they end up going overseas. So while you were playing, did you encounter any NBA players or former NBA players
Oh
while you were
yeah,
playing?
yeah. Those are statement players. Like you always want to play in the NBA. That's the ultimate goal. I've always wanted to play in the NBA. People say, well, why are you playing in the NBA? Well, I wasn't good enough. That's how I chalk it up. Like, I still had a great pro experience. And anytime that I would play against an NBA guy, I would make it a purpose to go at the head, just to prove to myself, prove to, whoever else that they played in the NBA. If you outdo them, you can play in the NBA too, which is not true, but that's the mindset you have. But I played against a lot of ex-NBA players, a lot of them.
Any notable ones you would say, like off the top of the dome that you could think
of? Man, Darrell Armstrong, Scotty Thurman, George Ackles, who played at UNLV back when UNLV had their run.
Hey, that's a list right there.
it was and a lot more. Just man, it's been so long, but played against a lot of NBA guys. They go overseas and they don't stay. Every year, you only have 300 jobs in the NBA. So, how many kids are coming out of college every year? How many pros are still in existence? How many pros are getting better? How many guys you have overseas, like in Africa, Spain, all over Europe, Asia, getting better? So it becomes a really tough. It's a tough area, bro. In that NBA and stay in the NBA.
Sure.
So you have to be really good or really blessed.
Oh yeah.
So after playing so many years professionally, at what moment did you feel that it was time to stop playing professionally, going more into your development of players and teaching?
So never. So I was kind of like forced out of the game. I had a injury. I broke my shin the summer of 2000. I cracked my shin. And so I just signed a 2-year deal to go back to Lebanon, and I couldn't go play. Once I healed from my shin, I was starting to have a lot of problems with my hip or groin area, and it turned out that there was arthritis in my left hip. And so I was having an issue with my left hip. So I kind of was like told by the doctor, you can continue to play, and by the time you're 35, you'll need a hip replacement, or you can shut it down and enjoy your child. So I shut it down. And that's when I started I had already started working with kids, doing skill development, but my agent at the time, and attorney, he was doing some work down at IMG, and IMG was bringing the basketball academy in. So the whole thing started with doing player development and things like that. So I would go down and I started rebounding for the NBA guys. Your Al Harringtons, Tracy McGrady's, Vince Carter's, Jared Jeffries, Chauncey Billups, Tyronn Lue, Kyle Lowry, all those guys, Dwight Howard, you name it, Kevin Garnett, all those dudes. So I started rebounding and doing, just helping the trainers get them through their workouts on the court. And then it started growing, more and more pros started coming. I was watching, and so they put me in the basket, and I would have a group. So I may have a guards one day, they may have the forwards, somebody else may have the bigs. Then we would rotate. So I started like that. I started as a runner, just assisting in IMG and rebounding, doing all the little things. And I started learning more, and I started coming up here in Tampa in the hood, just training kids for free.
Wow.
So I ended up taking a kid down with me to IMG named Ronaldo Balkman. Ronaldo
Oh,
got drafted by the Knicks, so
by
he
the
was the
Knicks.
first kid he was the first kid I took down with me. He was a kid that I mentored,
Wow.
like kind of like the kids that come to the skill center. So he was one of those kids that I mentored. I took him to IMG with me and walked him through the whole process.
So I'm curious. At MG, I think Dwight Powell, he plays for the Mavericks now. Did you get a chance to catch him at all at MG?
Yeah, I know Dwight really well. Yeah, I went out to see Dwight last year play in Dallas, but he tore his Achilles, so he was out when I was out there last February. But also a kid that I had down there at IMG, Sekou Lewis is the lead attorney for the Dallas Mavericks right now. So I have two guys out there. Michael Beasley played for me at IMG. He was there with us for 2 seasons, actually a year and a half, because he had to be removed. He was put off campus.
Right.
Yeah, Beasley, great kid, man, but always been a wild kid.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, so we've had I've been around a lot of pros. I branched off and started, Jared Jeffries was my guy that I had that I worked with for about 7 years.
Wow. So you seem to be real cool with Knicks players, I see.
Yeah, I know a lot of them. I spent a lot of
Yeah.
time in New York.
Wow.
I got a chance to have a decent relationship with Dan and Tony and his staff when he came in. When Ronaldo was there, it was Isaiah Thomas and his staff. So I got a chance to, know a little bit of the staff, but just being around the whole NBA, just doing skill development, just being around all that. It's been good.
That's amazing. So you leave IMG and then you go to Hillsborough High School. What specifically called you to Hillsborough High?
Zach Carter's mom and dad. So
Wow.
Zach Carter is the starting DN for the Florida Gators.
Yeah.
He's a skill center kid. His parents asked me if I would come coach like 3 times, and I told them no. But I had some hiccups between there because I was at St. Leo University on the women's side. I was at HCC on the women's side. So I bounced around a little bit. But for me, I like skill development, so that's why I never wanted to coach. So because of Zach's parents, I said I would go and I would be there with him for 3 years. He was a sophomore. So I said after the 3 years, after they were done, I was done. So it was kid Zach Carter, Dexter, Stallworth, who's at FAM, well, he was at FAM, and Bryce Moraine were my 3 main kids. He plays at FAM as well.
Okay.
But those are my guys. So I went and ended up staying 6 instead of 3.
Wow. That's amazing. So you take over a team that went 6-19 before you got them, and then your first year, you went 13-13. So you get there. So like, what's your first meeting like with the team? Like, what principles did you want to set forth? Like, what message did you want to send? Like, first day as a first impression.
So the first year was kind of like we didn't have any time, so I didn't get the job until October. So really, I knew the kids, they trained with me, but you didn't have really much of a chance to like build anything. You had to build it through the year, what you want. So just changing the culture, having kids understand that it's not about them, like as a individual, it's about them as a team. I don't want the best players, I want the best team. I want our kids to be have a high skill set. I want their basketball IQ be higher, and I want their thought process and their hunger for the game to be bigger than just them. I want it to be about the team and they know based on what the team brings, they're going to get something everybody can eat. So first year was kind of like a wash. We went 13-13. Second year, we went 16-13, but we lost by 2 to go to state in the regional finals. The third year, we lost to Orlando Edgewater. Anthony Simons was there, who plays with Portland. And we lost to them by 4. He went to IMG the next year.
Right.
So we lost them by 4 that third year in the regional finals, the game that we should have won. And then the fourth year we go to state. The fifth year we went to state, and then the sixth year we lost by 3 to Bartow at Bartow. They were number 1 in the state. We lost to them to go to state by 3. So, my book that I'm going to write is going to be 9 away from 5 and 6. 9 points away from going to state 5 years in a row out of 6.
Well, I'm definitely buying the copy.
Wow. Yeah.
So in your 5th season, y'all played Downey Christian, and then you played, which is Julian Newman, who everybody has a really high following. What was your evaluation of him playing against him?
Julian Newman?
Yes.
He could shoot. I wasn't impressed. I've been around a lot of pros, man.
Right.
I've been around a lot of people that can play. He could definitely score. That's one thing. He had a kid on his team named Christian Maldonado. I think that's his kid's name. Now, he was impressive. Young kid, really, really talented. He was big time impressive. I really enjoyed watching him play just because he did everything. With Julian Newman, he could shoot. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about him, but it just wasn't a
he didn't pass
it wasn't for me. It wasn't anything impressive. He lit us up in the first half. We went zone. He lit us up in the first half. Second half, we went man to man, and he didn't really do anything. Christian killed us. That kid, he murdered us.
Yeah.
So, but he was good, but like I said, he wasn't like that. I didn't, like it take a lot to rock me off my seat, man. We played against some kids that were really talented, but it takes a lot to like not impress me, but for me to be like, oh man, it takes a lot.
Yeah. So when you played against Anthony, like Simons, did you know he was going to the league after that game?
No, not even close. He didn't have a good game against us. He got all his points from the free throw line against us. We held him to like 13 or 15 points. He got all his points from the free throw line. The kid that beat us was a freshman that beat us from that team. He had 24 points on us. And that's what really surprised us and shocked us to beat us in that game, which we were winning the whole game, but we lost it at the end. Just couldn't maintain the lead.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you were at Hillsborough High, what type of coaching style did you implement when you were coaching there? Were you more of a defensive coach or patient space offense?
I'm more of a development coach. Like I believe in developing kids. I believe in making sure that kids are fundamentally sound. They can finish with their right hand. They can finish with their left hand. They can finish at the basket. They can shoot a jump shot. They can knock down a free throw. They can make a good pass. They can rebound. So that's the way I coach. That's the way I like to prepare kids. I just want kids to be fundamentally sound. I think if you're fundamentally sound, you can beat a lot of teams that way because they don't know how to prepare for you if you don't have a weakness. So I'm not an offensive or defensive coach. I'm a basketball coach. I'm a player development guy.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So it's critical and very good to develop the next generation of basketball players. And of course, I think you had mentioned when you first went to Hillsborough High, I think you mentioned you were only going to stay there for 3 years. And then, of course, you stayed longer. What led to you staying longer over there?
Tyree James, Tyree James that played travel ball for me.
Mhm.
He came in as a freshman. And so I said, I was going to be done with my travel team when my travel team was done in 2020. I already said this because I was with them since the 4th grade. So I said when my travel team was done, I was done coaching. And so he came to Hillsborough. So I didn't want to leave him there. He came to Hillsborough because of me. So I stayed with him, and he won 100 games in 4 years.
Yeah.
He won 100 high school games, basketball games in 4 years. He played last year at St. Leo University. He was a walk-on last year. So Tyree James is the reason why I stayed at Hillsborough, and I'm glad I did.
So that season, I saw your season where you went like 28-3. So like you only lost 3 games. So what was special? What was special about that season? You would say, and just like was there like a different mood around the team? Was everyone like what made that season so well?
So that season, the kids started to get it. Like they really started to understand what our whole purpose was behind, the culture that we created or the environment that we created. They really start to understand what it was about. And here's the crazy piece: we lost 3 games. So we lost the first game to that Julian Newman's team, which we had 3 players missing. They came in the 4th quarter because they were taking the ACT that weekend, and they drove over. They didn't get there until the 4th quarter. All right, and these were 3 kids they were big players for us, and they were bigs too. They were 6'5" and 6'6" or 6'7". So that was the first loss. The second loss came to a forfeit. It wasn't we didn't lose. We had to forfeit a game because the county told us we couldn't play on a Thursday night after we had to wait till that Friday, because during the holiday season, during exams, you can't play games for that week until that Friday. Well, we thought since we were told that we would be able to play, and when it was time to play, we were playing in a Crew Classic. We had to forfeit a game. So that was our second loss. And then the third loss came at state, and we lost in overtime to Dillard. So I think the kids just started to get it. They started to buy in. They started to understand the culture, and winning is not just about one person solely. It's about a team. And they started to see what they could bring to that team. And they started bringing what they could bring to the team, and it made the team better. It made the program better. So they said, if you, like in the Field of Dreams, they said, if you build it, they will come. You're right. If you build something, a winning program, and you start doing things the right way, it wasn't about having the best best players. It's about having the best team. And so we started to gain some respect.
That's amazing, coach. So you're co-founder of the Skill Center. So just talk to people about, I guess, what the Skill Center is all about and what made you want to come on board as a co-founder.
So what's funny is I created a program years ago called CETA, College Education Through Athletics. This was right after I finished playing. And the whole piece was to take those kids that were really good, that needed help, and help them gain academic opportunity through athletics. And so through that program, I think in 3 years, we put 33 kids into college. So the skill center is kind of, I created a basketball league, it was called the Yo League, and it was a real competitive basketball league, but it was a way to get kids in, to give them academic opportunity, to give them job development, give them social skills. And so we started doing that. And so that's what the skill center's concept, that's where the skill center's concept, where it comes from, was just that. It was from the Yo League, from CETA. And so, we had already been doing it. We've been doing it as recruitment. So people think the skill center is just about basketball, but the skill center is not about basketball. It's about developing kids. We just use the sports as the vehicle or the platform to do it on. But to give them all the social skills, to give them all the character development, to give them all the mentorship and leadership that kids, they need, want, look for. And we understand that every kid's not going to play college ball or going to be a pro. But we can prepare them for life through the game of basketball or through sports. And so that's what we do. That's what the skill center is about. It's about developing character. It's about mentoring kids and developing new leaders and preparing kids for a future, and have them be fundamentally sound, and make sure that everything that we do is intentional. Make sure everything that we teach is transferable. So that's the ultimate goal of the skill center. We just use basketball as the platform to get kids in and bring them in. But these kids are going to be better people. They're going to be better parents. They're going to be better workers, leaders, based on the services we provide them. But at least that's what we hope.
Sure. That's amazing.
So I have two questions. They're gonna go back to back into each other. So first one is currently at the moment, is the skill center kind of like your full-time work and your main priority? And if it is, what led you to make that skill center your main priority at the moment?
Yes, the skill center is my full-time and my main priority. Well, because we're good at it. It's something that we love. I mean, I love basketball. Like, I get to stay in the gym. I get to go to work in shorts and a t-shirt every single day. So we're good at what we do. So there's nothing. I mean, if you could find your perfect job and not consider it a job and do it for the rest of your life, would you? And that's what the skill center is. Our ultimate goal is to impact our community, impact people, develop. That's it. And so I get a chance to give back every day. I get a chance to go and develop every single day. I get a chance to be on the floor every single day and playing a important role or playing a part in somebody's life. I mean, that's a blessing, bro. I mean, too many people don't get to do that, and be able to do it year after year. So, I'm a giver, bro. So that's what makes this so easy. That's what makes it, where I can do this every single day for the rest of my life.
Right. It's amazing.
Right. Yep.
Coach, you might, so that's amazing. Appreciate all the information. So we want to end the interview off with a couple of rapid questions. You cool with that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what's your favorite music genre?
What is it?
Favorite music genre?
YouTube?
Favorite type of music. Favorite
Music?
type of music.
I'm a moody dude, bro. But R&B.
R&B?
Just the R&B. Yeah, I'll do R&B. I listen to music based on moods.
Okay.
Okay.
You might even hear some country music in my car.
I ain't mad at it.
Okay. All right. Second question: which NBA era is currently your favorite?
NBA, what is it?
Era. That era of the NBA.
I didn't understand. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Which NBA what?
NBA.
Era?
Era, yeah.
Definitely 80s and 90s. Michael Jordan era.
What stands out about the 80s and 90s?
You got some real goons. You got some dogs. Man,
Sure.
you got some dudes that will hit you help you up and tell you how many fouls they have to give.
True.
I think the game now is more entertainment. You start calling fouls for touching somebody the wrong way, or
Right.
saying something to somebody. Like I remember you dunk on somebody, you yell at their ass all the way down the court. You dunk on somebody and look at them crazy, they give you a technical foul talking about unsportsmanlike conduct. Like, yes, but it's okay for the social media to put them on memes and put them on blast, getting dunked on 6 times and clown them over social media. But I can't yell at you in the game because I just posterize you. I got to wait to see it on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who would you say is the best player you've had the opportunity to coach?
So 89.
Okay. So who would say is the best player?
Coach or work with? Training or as a team?
Well, both. I'll say both. So best player you coach is
So
the best player you work with.
the best, I don't have a best player that I coach. I have a couple kids that are really good. I mean, because we were at IMG, so we had some really good kids on the girls' side and the boys' side that we had a chance to coach. So I really don't, have a best player that I've had to coach or had to. Now, the best kid that I trained, I have a couple of them. I have Chauncey Billups. He's one of the best guys I've ever worked with. Like, he's just a pro. Like, he's really good. I've had a chance to, do workouts with him. And a kid named Jay Bowie, who's playing in Australia right now. He's one of the hardest workers that I've ever had the pleasure to work with. And a kid named JJ Hickson. I don't know if you remember JJ Hickson.
He played with the Cavs and the Warriors, right?
Yep. So I went up to work him out for the getting ready for the McDonald's All-American game. When I say we went at 5:30 in the morning, he brought it. When at 8 o'clock at night, he brought it. Like, he was one of the best workout kids I've ever had a chance to work with.
JJ Hickson.
JJ Hickson. Yeah, when the North Carolina State ended up at going after his first year into the league. Yeah.
Who would you say is the most memorable player you've played against?
Man, I don't know. It's been a lot. One of my most memorable teammates was Roy Jones Jr. He was my point guard in the USBL. Now he's a kid that was really good, but probably Scotty Thurman. Scotty Thurman. I think he gave me 43. Yeah, I gave him 41, but he gave me 43.
There you go. And last but not least, so I hear you like to say trust the process. So what does that mean to you?
Trust the process is this. It's mostly directed at parents. It can be directed at kids. It's just trusting the process. Every kid grows at a different rate. Like, they grow different. How they develop, how they process things, mentally, physically, they just grow at a different rate. They start to mature at a different rate. And a lot of people don't want to wait. They want everything right now. They want to dismiss kids because the kid is not good right now. They don't want to sow anything into the kid and just, pour all their stuff into the kid, because kids don't have it right now. They're not good right now. So he won't make my team, so I'm going to cut him. Well, that's not good. Trust the process. Every kid has a process. If we don't trust Tyson's process, Tyson was the best player. He wasn't the best basketball player in the area. He didn't get recruitment until his senior year. It was about trusting the process. It was about being patient. It was about watching him grow and letting him grow and preparing him. So once he got to where he wanted to be, he was able to be successful. He was able to, apply what he knew into what he loved. So that's what it's about. Trusting the process is just being patient. If you want to cook, and you want something good, you have to go through the whole process. You want to go to the store and buy it frozen, or do you want to put it on the stove and let it marinate, where you have to put it in the refrigerator for a couple of days and let meat marinate. You got your sauces on it and everything like that. So how you want to do it? The best food is going to be what? Food that takes time.
Yep, all of them.
You know, so that's what trusting the process is. Just being patient, enjoying it, and still teaching and preparing along the way. So when it gets to time for that to be there, for it to happen, man, it's an experience of a lifetime, and you're well prepared.
That's amazing. You touched on Tyson a little bit. So, how does that feel like for you as a father to have a son that's playing pro as well and doing the same thing you were doing?
It's a blessing. It's really a blessing. He's so much better than I was. He's really skilled. He shoots the ball really well. He's not as athletic, but he's pretty athletic. But he's not as athletic as I was. But he's really skilled, and his basketball IQ is amazing. So it's a blessing. It's fun to see. The biggest piece for me was him graduating from college on time. He has a business finance degree, and he graduated debt free. You don't have to pay anything back. So all the money that he makes now, you don't have to worry about a student loan or this or that. It's just like he's at a plus. He's not no minus right now. He's at a plus. So everything he can do, he can save. So it's fun to watch. It was never forced upon, but he's there now. He's enjoying it, and it's been really a great experience for us.
Love it.
So before, we end up the episode, we want to give you the opportunity, if there's anything you want to say to the audience that's listening to this interview today.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Before we go off, is there anything you want to say to the audience that's listening here today?
What's up, brother? I'm good. No, I'm sorry. I'm putting my mask on because I'm going to walk through this crowd. But no, I mean, do what you do, love what you do. Just don't do it for you. Have an impact in the community. Make it why are you doing it? What is the impact? So continue doing what you're doing. We need more brothers like you doing this stuff.
I really appreciate you, Coach, for having allowing us.
Did I freeze up on you?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think you're good now, though.
You guys, I hope my wife got me at the mall. So
that's cool.
before she spends some money, I'm leaving up out of here.
Big shout. We appreciate you for coming on, though, Coach.
All right, brothers. Y'all have a nice one. Thank you.
All right. You as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Take it easy.
All right.